Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Astrology History channel. So today I'm going to explain about Queen Elizabeth I. Queen Elizabeth I was born on 7th September 1533 and she ruled under 1603. Elizabeth I was the daughter of King Henry VIII. Henry VIII had managed to marry six times so that he can get a son. So, however, in the first part, King Henry VIII was the son of Henry VII, and his brother passed away in 1502. When his brother passed away, Prince Arthur of Wales passed away in 1502. He had married to his wife Catherine of Aragon. So Henry VII alliance broke out with Spain, and therefore Henry VII had told his regards to his son King Henry VIII to marry your sister-in-law, who was Catherine of Aragon. Catherine of Aragon managed to give birth to Queen Mary I. But before Mary, there were many other children, but they died. But only Mary was the one who survived. King Henry VIII then was very fierce against Catherine of Aragon, so she got divorced later on. In 1531, Catherine was divorced and Anne Boleyn was married to Henry VIII. Henry VIII promised Anne Boleyn had promised Henry VIII when she will give birth to her son. But unfortunately, Anne Boleyn gave birth to a daughter named Elizabeth I. So in 1536, when Elizabeth I was only 3 years old, as a child, her mother was executed in the town of London. Later on, in 1536 to around 1537, the next year, Edward VI was born, and Henry VIII married Jane Seymour. When Jane Seymour got married to Henry VIII, she gave birth to Edward VI, and he was overjoyed. Henry was overjoyed at that time. So, unfortunately, on 12th October 1537, Lady Jane Seymour died on that day. So Henry VIII had to marry again a German wife named Anne of Cleves. Anne of Cleves was quite a very doubtful woman, and she was not even interested in Henry. However, Henry VIII divorced her. Henry VIII divorced her, and later on, Henry VIII married Catherine Howard. Catherine Howard was also a wife for only 1 year, but she did some adultery against the law, but she was executed. Later, then King Henry VIII married Catherine Parr, who was the last wife of Henry VIII. So basically, when Henry VIII became old, he was around 55 years old when he died in 1547. So he died in 1547, and the son and the throne was given to Edward VI. Edward VI ruled from 1547 to 1553. However, Edward VI was not like his father, nor he married 10 times a day. So Edward VI basically he had a relationship with Lady Jane Grey, who was a 9 days queen, and he converted himself into a Protestant Catholic, a Protestant Christian. So, however, Edward VI was a very delightful and a very remarkable king at that time, and he was only 9 years old when he became the king. Not until the age of 15 years old when he died by tuberculosis. So, his future wife became Queen of England for only 9 days. In 1554, when Queen Lady Jane Grey passed away, the 9 days queen, she got executed, and Queen Mary became queen. So Mary claimed the throne as being queen. Queen Mary the First ruled from 1553 to 1558, only 5 years of her reign, and she did nothing at all to her country. She basically burned many Catholics, men, women, children, and other infants who were killed by her her rivals. So Queen Mary the First ruled till 1558, and after 1558, Queen Elizabeth the First became queen from 1558 to 1603. So during that time, Queen Elizabeth the First was very intelligent. She learned many languages: um, French, Latin, English, and German, and other sources of languages around Europe. Queen Elizabeth the First was basically a virgin queen. She was also called the Virgin Queen or the Snow White Queen. Queen Elizabeth I had many collaboration with the Ottoman Empire with Sultan Mehmed III's mother Safia Sultan. She wrote a letter to her that I wanted to alliance the relationship with you, that the Turkish Empire and the Ottoman Empire will have a great relationship between themselves. So they managed. Even Queen Elizabeth the First had a great relationship with the Russian Empire, with the Ruriks. So at that time, Ivan the Terrible, he was really not interested with Queen Elizabeth the First to become a relationship. As well for the Mongols also had a great relationship with Queen Elizabeth the First, but not much encouragement. So Queen Elizabeth the First, she faced a lot of consequences at the time. She banned many tortures in England, which were based on the total score or on the punishment, the trials and all that. So Queen Elizabeth the First had to face her consequences, and then in 1587, her cousin Queen Mary of Scots wanted to take over the throne of England, but she was later executed in she was later executed. So, however, in the next year, in the following year, Mary the First of England's spouse, who was Philip the Second of Spain, he attacked towards Elizabeth the First, and her English naval, Spanish naval, Netherlands, and France all occupied and all occupied and started to attack each other. So, however, Elizabeth the First had won victoriously, and she was a very, very well intelligent queen, I tell you. And Philip the Second was executed at the pause, and he died. So when Queen Elizabeth the First became queen later on from 1588 to 1603, Queen Elizabeth found the ESC, also known as the East India Company. But after her death in 1603, her nephew, King James VI and the First of England and Scotland, became king from 1604 to 1625. Later on, he sent a trader or a governor who was William Hawkins in 1608, the Mughal Empire Jahangir. But later on in 1612, James VI Stuart, he told Sir Thomas Roe to go to India and collaborate with them. Therefore, established factories in Surat, Bengal, Masipatnam, and other sources of other people, Gujarat. So yeah, this was the story of Elizabeth the First, but we are not done yet. There, Elizabeth the First had a rough childhood at the time. Elizabeth the First, basically, she did not even communicate to her father that she really loved her mother, yes or not. Because if you see in her photo, every photo she wears a D necklace, which reminds her of her mother. She was also very loving to her step brother. She was also very loving to everyone, but her half sister, Queen Mary the First, didn't give her a chance when she became queen at the age of 25 in 1558. So, Elizabeth the First was a very quite delighted person. She was a nice person. But however, if you see the scenario that when Elizabeth the First gets involved with Mary, and Mary also, she takes over her and she puts her in prison. So Elizabeth doesn't get any chance to get married. I mean, to get a throne. Therefore, she was not able to be queen. Many historians say this, and she was even not even married. Why was she not married? She didn't marry any man, but however, she had a lover named Thomas Seymour. But later, Thomas Seymour had some adultery against the queen, so the queen executed him. For this story, it's quite a long story, and I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And on 16 February 2025 is our first year of our video content making creator. So we will make more content, plus we will have more followers. And then on 16 February 2025, there will be story of the Mughals from Zahir or the Muhammad Babur all the way to Aurangzeb in parts. Thank you.